Okay, Melissa, we're live. I'm going to send it back to you. All done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hey, Sarah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I just want to make sure that I don't transcribe anything to start with. I wait till we go to the breakout room, correct?
That's right, Craig. And actually, if you want to jump off, it's totally up to you. We have a whole agenda to go through before we'll get to the hearing.
Okay. Will I be automatically pulled? Do I have to do anything or will they just pull me into the room?
No, I've already given the administrator of the Zoom your name, and so you should just be automatically pulled into the breakout room.
Okay. So I'll just kind of have the audio on and just kind of listen for when they break out and stuff.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Craig. Sure thing.
All right.
Good morning, everybody. Or afternoon, I mean.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Norris, Amy Hinojosa said that she would be running a little late.
There we go. Y'all can hear me now. Sorry. Okay, I think I can see everybody. So Amy said she's gonna be late. So
Yeah, she said she'd be running about 30 minutes late or so.
okay. Anybody heard from Mike?
Yes, he's gonna be late. He's trying to log in now.
Okay. Let me get that script ready. Okay.
It's up to you, Mr. Norris. You have a quorum if you'd like to get started, or if you want to wait, whatever you would like to do.
Okay, we can go ahead and get started. If Mike, I'm sure Mike, this is all the preliminary matters. Hopefully by the time we get through all of this, he can be logged in. So, all right, we can go ahead, get the meeting started. Hold on, let me put this in a place where I can see it still. Okay. All right, so, the August 19th, 2020 regular meeting for the HCDE Board of Trustees is called to order. The time is 1:01 p.m. On March 16, 2020, Governor Greg Abbott requested by Attorney General Ken Paxton to temporarily suspend a number of open meeting laws to the extent necessary to allow telephonic or video conference meetings in response to COVID-19 pandemic. In accordance with those suspended rules, we certify the following. Number one, notice of this meeting has been posted online for at least 72 hours. Number two, although members of the board are not gathered in a central physical location, we do have a quorum in attendance at this meeting by video conference. Number three, we are meeting by use of Zoom software application, which allows two-way communication and allows members of the public to both see and hear the meeting. Number four, regarding public comment, one of the rules suspended by Governor Abbott was the statutory requirement to hold public comment at board meetings. Similarly, the resolution adopted by the HCDE board at its emergency meeting held on March 20th, 2020, the board temporarily waived any requirement or allowance of public comment / citizen inquiry at the board meetings as provided for by board policy BED local until such time that the department assumes no more operations. In lieu of public comment during the board meetings, members of the public may submit written comments to the board via email address posted on today's meeting notice. Number five, all other meeting procedures will adhere to board adopted procedures to the extent practicable. Number six, recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public at a later date. Number seven, this software application allows for a maximum of 100 people to view and interact at a time. We apologize in advance for any unforeseeable difficulties and ask for your patience as we navigate unprecedented conditions. Number eight, to ensure that we have a smooth meeting today, everyone's microphones, including the board members' microphones, will be automatically muted. If a board member or a member of the administration has a question or would like to make a comment, I ask that you please raise your hand and wait until I recognize you before unmuting your microphone and speaking. Number nine, before we move to the first agenda item, does any board member have any questions? And now I can see everybody again. Any questions by any board members? I don't see any. Seeing none. The first agenda item is the invocation by Trustee Cantu.
Thank you. Lord, thank you for this beautiful day. Continue to guide us through this dark valley known as COVID-19. Keep us, our loved ones, even our foes, safe and healthy. Bless abundantly and continue to protect those working on the front line, to care for the sick, to keep our surroundings clean and sanitized, and to ensure the public safety. We ask for your blessings and grace on those who have the awesome responsibility of keeping our students, educators, and support staff safe and healthy. Give them the wisdom and the fortitude to make these tough decisions and do what's best for our community. We also ask for your special blessings upon all parents, grandparents, and guardians who have to guide and support their children as they take on virtual learning. Provide them with the patience and determination to give their kids the love and support they need to succeed. Finally, Lord, guide this administration and governing board to act in a manner that is just and transparent, always remembering to whom we are accountable, and whose lives and futures we are entrusted to transform. Amen.
Man. Alrighty. We will. The next item on the agenda are the pledges of allegiance to the U.S. flag and the Texas flag. The pledges will be done by Trustee Duhan.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Trustee Duhan. And all right, so now we will have our public comment. In lieu of public appearance at the board meeting, members of the public may submit written comments to the board via email prior to the meeting, addressed to public comments at acde-texas.org, which will be provided to the board in your email. Please always state your name, your address, topic, and any comments. So did we get any comments? Did we get any emails or any comment?
Yes, we did. We received one from Rebecca Paulus, and it's of Ms. Godbout. I'd ask that you send that to all board members, the actual email, and it's up to the board. I'm happy to read it, redacted because it has a confidential FERPA protected student name in it, but it's up to the board. Would you like to hear it now, or would you like to just receive the email?
Is it possible to get to find out the nature in executive session and then
No, because it's public comment. And Mr. Sumners, I'm sorry, we can't see you in the video. Thank you. And the video conferencing rules require, I call it the eye roll rule, that we have to see if if you roll your eye. So thank you for fixing that. Hi, Mr. Wolf.
Hello.
It's pretty short. Would you like for me to just read it and I won't say the student name, and that way it'll be in the record? Okay.
Sure.
The comment is from Rebecca Paulus, Paulus, and her topic is HCDE age requirements. And the comment states, hello, I wanted to enroll my daughter name into pre-K 3 at Doggin Elementary, where her older sister also attends. This year, the school will not start until September 8th, 2020, at which my daughter will be 3 years old then. I'm not able to enroll her in the HCDE program since there are requirements for the child to be age 3 on or before September 1st, 2020. Since the pandemic happened this year and the start dates are pushed back, I wish that there could be accommodation for children like mine. I had also spoken with Doggin Elementary, and they stated there were other parents in the same situation. I honestly feel that this early education will benefit my child and hope that you can help. Thank you for taking the time to consider my request. God bless. And that is the public comment portion. As you know, the board is limited in responding to public comment about things that are not on the agenda, in which this is not. You can give a recitation of fact or policy, and you can also refer it to administration. I will say that there are Head Start standards about age requirements and through those regulations, and so I'm not sure how much leeway, if any, HCDE has. Additionally, this is an HISD affiliated Head Start center. And so I imagine that HISD rules would apply too. But if the board would like to refer this to administration for further review.
Explain why I would also add that I've already taken that email and forwarded to our Head Start division and Mr. Parker.
Great. Okay,
Well, it sounds like it's already been, administration already has it. has a
Great.
handle on it.
great.
Okay.
And Mr. Sumners, I apologize. We can't see you. There you go. Thank you.
On my other computer.
Okay. All right.
Playing Video games.
Okay, now we'll move on to reports and presentations. We'll first go to the superintendent monthly report. So Superintendent
Thank you,
Colbert.
Vice President Norris. Just a couple things to update the board on. First, HCD will begin its reentry process back into our facilities effective August 24th, which is next Monday. The executive leadership team, along with their administrative assistants, will be reporting back to the building to work full-time Monday through Friday. The following week on August 31st, the leadership team will be reporting back to the facilities along with their administrative assistants, working full-time Monday through Friday. And then on September 8th, our schools, with the exception of Head Start, will reopen and begin to receive students from school districts who have opened up their doors and are doing face-to-face instruction with students. The administrative component, we will have what we call a waterfall start. We will have 4 start times to the day. It can start at 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and 8:30. And this is in an attempt to try to prevent bottlenecks to some of our procedures that we've put in place. We don't want 150 employees showing up at one time and then they all have to get their temperature checked. So that's one bottleneck that we have. And then another one that we have is the elevators. We are limiting capacity to 2 people per elevator and encouraging those who can to use stairs. But we understand that if everybody comes at the same time, we might wait an hour to get to the second floor if everyone chose to take an elevator. I would say that our administration, specifically Natasha Truitt, Richard Vela, Danielle Clark, and Dr. Amesqua have been doing an exceptional job and working together and getting all the equipment, tools, and technology necessary for us to be able to have some form of confidence as we allow our staff to come back to work and we can ensure their safety. But at the same time, none of that stuff is any good if people don't honor it and demonstrate some discipline once they get back into the buildings. Our principals are doing a very good job in preparing their teachers and students to come back. The second thing is the Partners in Education report, which is the money that the board approved to send over to our Education Foundation. That you received that as an attachment from Melissa about a day or so ago. But just wanted to tell you what the net result of that is for phase 1. 52 grants were submitted to the tune of over $600,000. 17 school districts applied. 16 of the school districts were awarded some form of grant. Some school districts may be submitted 12 to 15 grants. There was some very active school districts. The foundation awarded $207,000 in grants for this first round, which is going to impact 68,724 students. So we're really, really excited about that, for it to be the first year that we've ever done it. Some of the categories that the grants break up into is 17% of the grants were related to health. 6% of them were related to innovation. 33% was related.
Oops.
Oh, looks like we lost him. Let's see.
Oh,
Still
there he is.
Now you're back.
Action.
Mr. Colbert, we
I'm in the
couldn't,
administration buildings.
Mr. Colbert, we lost you for a good minute or so.
All things it's 17%. 6%
Mr. Colbert,
Because like his connection went
technical
bad.
difficulties. Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm in too. So either way, the report was sent out to you. If you have any questions, free to call me and I'll follow up with you. But that's all I have.
Mr. Colbert,
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Colbert, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We did not hear about a minute and a half, 2 minutes of your last piece of your presentation. And we also can no longer see you.
Can you hear me?
Hey, you cut off for like the last 2 minutes. Like we didn't.
You need to mute your computer. That's the end of my report.
Okay. So,
Okay. Mr. Colbert said that he's in the administration building and the internet keeps cutting out. And so he will try to log back in. But in the interim, the information that he said in the last minute or two was sent to the board members about the grants. And so if with that, I would say, Mr. Norris, let's proceed to the next agenda item.
okay. Alrighty. The next agenda item would be the report of board feasibility subcommittee. Richard, do you have any updates on that committee?
No feasibility subcommittee report this month.
Okay. All right. Our next agenda item will be any other reports from board members concerning any attendance or participation at any HCDE related conferences, events, activities, committees, or any accolades for any HCD staff members or other deserving persons. Any board updates? Let's see, Richard. Trustee Cantu?
Thank you. Yes, I know the superintendent just attempted to brief us on the the procedures for reopening the administration building and our refunctioning of our programs and services. And he assured me, I did ask him about this before the meeting, and I just shared my concerns about making sure that, because I know we immediately think about our students and about our educators, our teachers, but I wanted to emphasize to him and make sure that we didn't forget about our frontline staff, to make sure that they had the proper PPE and protocols in place to protect them, everybody from the custodians and janitors all the way to the clerks and especially the folks that sit at the front desk or any type of secretarial desk that gets a lot of interaction. And so he assured me that things have been put in place, such as plexiglass and tons of protocols to make sure that all of our staff is protected. So I just wanted to give kudos to the administration for being on top of that and making sure and keeping the safety of our staff and clients in front of everything that we do. Thank you.
Are there any other board members that have any reports to share? I will note that, and I guess it's further down on the agenda, but one of the meetings we did have was a policy committee subcommittee meeting, and I think it might have been confused. I got an email asking about it. I just wanted to make sure it was clear from the last meeting that the policies that we talked about during the last meeting, that I brought up during the last meeting, was more about making sure that seeing what kind of policies we had in place for our with regards to minority and women inclusion and any of our what policy we had. And one of the things we went over in the policy subcommittee was making sure that a lot of the small businesses that we did consider, were that was a consideration, and making sure that we're able to have a policy that makes sure that small businesses and minority and women-owned businesses were able to participate in, and especially since we're about to do a lot of contracts. So I think that will be part of it, but I just want to make sure that was clear, because it was not just for Black businesses. I want to make sure that was clear. I think I brought up the Harris County statistics, so on their contracting. So I think that was making sure that everybody knew that. All right, with regards to we're now moving to the monthly financial reports by Assistant Superintendent Amesqua. Superintendent Jose, are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
There you go.
Okay, hello. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen for a moment. You have the information in your packet. The first item that I will go over is the financial highlights. Are you able to see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. These are as of July 30th, 2031. All our information is posted on our website. So we'll be reviewing the budget amendment report and also the interim financial report as of July. July is the 11th month of the year, so we have only one more month to go before we close the year. So we have our balance sheet as of July 31st. We're at $37,015,279 in equity, assets of $39,699,088, and liabilities of $2,161,516. The item that you see excess revenues or resources for the month as of July, we have $5,655,956. That is going to be utilized during the month of August, so you'll probably see here a zero once we close out the year. The estimated fund balance is at $32,092,070, and those are the types of fund balance that we have. This is estimated, and we do have the excess of $5.6 million as of July 31st. Our financial ratios as of July, our percentage of fund balance is 43%, a little bit ahead since a year ago at 41%. Working capital ratio, we're at 37 million, a little bit less than 39 million from a year ago. Unassigned fund balance ratio, we're at 52% versus 45% from a year ago. Debt to income ratio, we're at 6% versus 7% last year. Our debt payments are a little bit lower this year. Our revenue to tax revenue ratio is 28% versus 24% at the same time last year. Our indirect cost is at the same, holding on at 3% from our grants. We have a fee growth indicator. We're at 24% versus 22% from a year ago. And then our fee growth, we're at minus 0.3 versus last year where we were growing at 5%. So we're pretty much stayed the same as a year ago as of the same time. Our amendments for the month, these are all the amendments that we've had from September through December, 522,290. We have our budget revenues to actual, we're at 90% of the year lapse, and so we have billed or received 90% of our general fund revenues. Overall, we're at 74%. Some of our grants are lagged one month, so we're going to be looking at 50% in terms of our special revenues. We're going to start a new cycle for the new fiscal year. In terms of expenditures, we're at 74%. So 74% versus 92%. So while we didn't get some of the revenue, we also did not spend some of the expense. So that's a good thing to be able to not have a double impact on the budget. So we do have right now $1.5 million of encumbrances, outstanding orders that we're still yet to receive between now and August 31st. Our donations report, we have $595 in May, and then we have year-to-date $61,099.20. Our tax values, we're at 478 billion. We still have 522 million left to be certified. That is a difference from a year ago because we started the year with 483 billion as a projection, and we're actually lower at 478 billion. This is one of the first years that we see that number reversed. In other words, that we don't see a meeting the values at the end of the year. We're actually seeing more protest, and so there is less amount of property values to be able to be certified. So what that means is that we will see 192,000 less in tax revenue. If all those stays the same, we will see an impact of 192,000 to our tax revenue. Year to date, we have collected 23,422,774. We're not going to get to the budget, which is 862,538. We're at a collection rate of 96.4%. And we have some delinquent taxes, but we also had about 400,000 in refund. Therefore, we have only $13,000 in delinquent taxes. But we do have a little bit of penalty and interest of 160,306 for the year. Our HCAT fees and tax office fees total to 665,795, of which we've paid year to date 643,226. We're about 1% off from we were exactly a year ago, 96.4 versus 97.8 from a year ago. So our collections are lagging a little bit behind. The tax office is still working from home, so they're not collecting there unless there's checks that come into the tax office. Disbursements for the month were $3,888,068. We processed 300 checks, 639 transactions, and 6 transfers. All of them were done and completed electronically. Our staff works from distance learning and distance workflow to be able to process all that activity. A copy of all the checks and registered is posted on our website. Our segment information data, we have educational certification with a negative variance of 482,511. Records management holding at 71,202. School-based therapy services at 1,699,840. That's a subsidy from the tax subsidy. And then our schools, the tax subsidy is 1,677,879. The cooperative purchasing cooperative Choice Partners is doing very well. It is transferred out to general fund a total of 3,612,214 at a benefit ratio of 64%, which means that we budgeted a little bit of 2 million, so we're about 1 million to the good in the Choice Partners, so they're really doing well. There was some impact on the COVID, but it has had some continues to have some growth in that area. Our budget amendments in general fund, we don't have any, but we do have some transfer between accounts that don't affect or don't impact fund balances, just from one account to another. And then we have some grants that are started in July and started in the new fiscal year. So we're adjusting the budget, and then we're adding revenue for Choice Partners because they've gone to 1.5 million above and beyond the revenue that they're collecting. So we're amending the budget to account for that revenue. So the first one is 252,000 transfers within accounts. Primarily, those are, we have had retirements and we budget for some of the payout of benefits to staff that retire, some transfers between accounts. We also have 258,681 of legal fees that are transferred in between accounts. In other words, we prepare the journal entry to allocate to the division depending on who uses the legal service. And so when we make the payment, then we'll make the allocation to the division. So this is just an allocation. It's not we have additional costs. It's just an allocation to the divisions. We have a new grant for the early Head Start startup, $237,838. That is a new money that comes in for Head Start, and that's for to provide additional improvements that are needed at some of our Head Starts in order to expand to early Head Start, make the transition from regular Head Start to early Head Start. We also have the in-kind budget that we're required to match our Head Start program, and so we needed to increase it by 1.5 million to match the 6-month award that we received. The federal government only awarded 6 months, every 6 months the award. So this is the extra 6 months for the in-kind portion of it. And then we also have the adult ed program, and this is just to match the grant that we received because it started during the summer. And so this is just to adjust to the notice of grant agreement. 922,523, and the same thing for adult ed EL civics, and that's just to match the grant that we received. We usually put in an estimate at the beginning of the year, and then when we receive the actual grant amount, we adjust it upwards or downward depending on what the grant we receive more or less. And then we received approximately 1,770,000 more in revenue and choice. Therefore, we're adjusting the budget to be able to match to our revenue. In terms of AB West, I'm gonna skip over a little bit of, because this is a lot of the history that you've seen every month. But we have total interest earned of 485,528 year to date. And we have, as of July, we have 1,091,763 left over in the project. This is going to be closed out in the month of August. We are projecting to have a PFC meeting on August the 31st to be able to pay out the retainage to our construction contract in the amount of 438,107. Now, the additional $1 million that you see there, that is going to go in to pay the debt. And so anything that is left over on this project will go and transfer to the debt service fund to be able to start paying down the debt. And then in the next 3 slides is just every payment since inception from 2016 all the way to current. And the last amount that we had is for Lone Star 1,040 that we have pending. So it's a total of 11,388,665. That's a very important number actually as we start looking at the bond program, because AB East we're projected that it would be around the same amount, probably with an increase because of the cost of construction going up in the Houston area. Here in this income statement is basically by fiscal year, and then at the end it tells you that you have 1,091,763 left over after all funds that are remaining in the project. The project acceptance and release of retainage is projected for August 31st. And then the last piece of this financial statement is the Educational Foundation update. As of July, we have total assets of 589,135. Equity, the same. We have income or revenues brought in of 438,240. That does not, that includes the $500,000 that was from HCDE. And also we have expenditures of $10,095 year to date. And so you see all the detail account by the revenue that came in and the expenses as well. Any questions regarding the interim financial report as of July 31st, 2020?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay, and then let me see, how do I get out of here so that I can go to the next report? Give me a second, because this is not clicking. I don't see a stop sharing piece on the file, so oh, here it is. It's in my other screen. I'm sorry. It's just I have 3 screens and it's not okay. Can you see my my screen for the investment report? Okay, thank you. So this is the investment report as of July 31st, 2020. All our information is posted on our website. Our portfolio is 39,823,544. PUB PFC 1,659,900. Notice it's a little bit more than the project amount because the rest is also retainage and also amount that we haven't paid yet. But the net amount that it's available is only 1,091,000. The rest is we have a retainage that we still need to pay. Our funds are invested in Lone Star, Texas Glass, TechSpool, and TechStart and Chase. Trying to stay within the 20 to 25% allocation per investment pool. PFC, also Bank of Texas, and also TechSpool, the investment pools. In comparison to a year ago, we have 9,109,553, or 19% less than a year ago, and primarily that is the use of the construction funds for the PFC that was in TechSpool, and now it's no longer because it's already been used. All of our funds are overnight. We've earned year-to-date 368,874 in interest, and in the PFC we've earned 60,746. Our interest that we're averaging is 0.259 versus the benchmark of 0.10, so we're a little bit above that, but it's still very low interest rate. And then here you see the history of when the COVID started back in March, and you see a sharp decline of the interest rate in the last 6 months. These are the monthly averages that we are seeing in the investment pool. The average is some between 21 and 58, depending on which pool that we have our monies in. This is the investment report for the month of July. Any questions that you may have regarding the report?
I do not see any. Oh, okay. I don't see any. So
okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mesqua. All right, our next agenda item. Next agenda item are going to be our action items, the consensus action items. Are there any items from the consensus action items that any board members want to move to the non-consensus portion of the meeting? Trustee Duhan?
It's more just a question of why it's set up this way, but D 4 through 6.
Okay. That'd be well, action item D. Action item D. Any others?
C3, please.
Okay. C3, D4 through 6. Any others? All right, seeing none. Do we have a motion to approve the action items, this consensus action items minus C3 and D4 through 6?
So moved.
Second.
And that was, it was motioned by Trustee Duhan and seconded by Trustee Cantor. Right, I guess we're doing a roll call.
Sure. Vice President Norris,
Yes.
Trustee Cantu,
Yes.
Trustee Duhan,
Yes.
Trustee Hinojosa. I believe that was a yes. Is that yes? Okay. Trustee Sumners
Yes.
and Trustee Wolf.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
All right. All right. So, okay, so let's go to item 6C3. That is the consider ratification and approval for the continuation of the contracts between Harris County Department of Education and Houston Galveston Area Council for the provision of adult education and literacy services in Harris and Liberty counties for the period of July 1st, 2020, June 30th, 2021, the amount of $4,750,000. Is there a motion? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
It's moved by Trustee Cantu. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Seconded by Trustee Duhan. Any discussion?
Just have a question. I just saw on the financial report that Dr. Amezcua presented that the adult ed budget is quite a bit larger than this grant amount, and I would just wanted to hear from the administration what percentage this grant is of our overall adult ed budget.
Okay, can you hear me? Yes. The 4,750,000 is the annual grant that starts on July 1st to June 30th. The 922,000 that you saw is the delta between last fiscal year and the July and August. So it is part of that 4,750,000. So this is the overall budget, 4,750,000.
That covers our entire adult ed program.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything is federal and state. There's no local funds. There's very little local funds for adult ed. Most of it is state and federal.
Okay. And I don't want to belabor this issue during this meeting, but if I could request that the administration schedule an update or report on adult ed. Specifically, I was reading through the scope of services and really interested in how we are conducting the outreach that is part of this grant, specifically the outreach to folks who have low levels of literacy, folks that are English language learners, and people with disabilities. Really interested to know how we're conducting that outreach and how successful we are. And we'd just like to have if we could schedule that to be one of the reports in the coming months. Thank you.
Any other questions or discussions for action item 8C3? Seeing none, for a vote?
Vice President Norris,
Yes.
Trustee Cantu,
Yes.
Trustee Duhan,
Yes.
Trustee Hinojosa,
Yes.
Trustee Sumners,
Yes.
Trustee Wolf.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Good deal. Okay. Next next item will be action items D4 through 6. I guess we'll start with D4, and I guess I'm assuming that probably whatever the discussion we have may answer the questions for the rest. So
It's up to you guys. You can take it as individually, or you can take them. The motion could be to approve 4, 5, and 6. It's completely up to you guys. Would you rather them be taken individually, Trustee Duhan?
The question is, why are they separated? So it can be individually. That's fine.
Okay.
so
So moved.
okay, hold on. We're moving for the. You want to do them separately, or you want to do it as a collective? We could.
Okay, as a collective, that's fine. We can do it as a collective.
Okay. Okay, well then, so do we have a motion to have a 4 through 6?
So moved.
Okay, it's been
Second.
moved by Trustee Duhan and seconded by Trustee Hinojosa. Any discussion? Trustee Duhan?
I'm just wondering why they had to be put into 3 different agenda items. Why is it like that?
I think the answer to that is that as my assistant is receiving those contracts from the district, she's putting them into the agenda as she gets them rather than hold them all the way till the end of the month.
Okay, so there is no reason that they are
No-
separated other
No
than
other than,
order
no
that they
other
came
than
in.
a clerical reason.
Okay, that's all I had.
Okay.
Any other questions for action item D4 through 6? Right, is there, want to move it to a vote?
Vice President Norris,
Yes.
Trustee Cantu,
Yes.
Trustee Duhan,
Yes.
Trustee Hinojosa,
Yes.
Trustee Sumners,
Yes.
and Trustee Wolf.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
All right, we can move on to the non-consensus items. I'll get there. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Moving on to the non-consensus items, we can move on to action item 7A, which is to consider approval of revenue agreement between Education Foundation of Harris County and Harris County Department of Education for Case for Kids. This is the Education Foundation of Harris County providing $495,000 receiving from the Houston Endowment with the support of Harris County Department of Education's Case for Kids Division implementation of Youth Pathways digital badging initiative. The award will be expanded over 3 years with up to 5-year period for project completion. The payout of these monies to Case for Kids will be on the following schedule: $173,000 in August 2021, $198,000 in 2022, and $123,750 in 2023.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, it's been moved by Trustee Cantu. Is there a second?
Seconded.
It's been seconded by Trustee Duhan. Any discussion? Seeing none, want to call for, is there any, I don't see anybody. Okay, don't see anybody. Want to call it for a vote?
Vice President Norris,
Yes.
Trustee Cantu,
Yes.
Trustee Duhan,
Yes.
Trustee Hinojosa,
Yes.
Trustee Sumners,
Yes.
and Trustee Wolf.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
All right. We can move on to the next agenda item. Wait a minute. Sorry. My screen did something funny. Okay. The next agenda item is action item 7B. Consider approval of the project / delivery contract method of job order contracting and approval of job order the contract for the removal and replacement of fence perimeter at Fortis Academy with ERC Environmental Construction Services Choice Partners job number 20-017-MR-09, the total amount of $105,481.60. Funding from the 2019-2020 construction funds. Is there a motion? Do we have?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Cantu. Is there a second?
second it.
Second by trustee Hinojosa. Any discussion? I think I saw trustee Sumner's hand go up and then trustee Duhan. So trustee Sumner.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I seem to remember that we did a fence replacement at Fortis maybe a couple of years ago.
I don't even think it was 2 years ago.
Okay, but it was recent that we replaced the fence there. So what I'm trying to figure out is what's happened now.
Well, now I ask Mr. Baylor to also chime into this, trustee Sumner's, but this is for additional fencing. If you remember last year, one of the vans got stolen. You know, we've had some security issues in that location. And so this is for an outside perimeter, I think, to get us into the parking lot and then having the additional fencing to get behind the school.
Okay, so this would be like in front of the school on the road?
I believe so.
Because I don't remember if there was a fence there before or not, but I do remember we spent quite a bit of money replacing the fence.
Yeah, I don't, you may be right. I don't remember the fencing for this. We replaced the fencing at High Point. And I think that was the one you had a number of questions about. And we have replaced the fencing at AV East, but I don't remember if it was Fortis or not. And so we're also looking at putting a lot of air conditioning equipment there too. So we'll need to up and increase the security for the building for that.
Okay, because as I recall, the air conditioning equipment was already fenced in by itself.
No, if you remember, the air conditioning unit at Fortis is on the stilts, kind of on that deck.
Right,
And
exactly.
now we're about to replace that.
Oh, okay.
And trustee Duhan? What, trustee Summers, does that answer your
Yeah,
question?
I'm just, because I do remember that because we spent quite a bit of money replacing that fence.
Okay, and trustee Duhan?
Are we not waiting for some confirmation from Mr. Vela?
That's correct. We did some fencing at High Point in ABS East when I came here. We changed the fencing out, but we did not. Since I've been here, it's my third year. We had not changed the fencing at Fortis, and this is the chain link fence that rides along the sides of the building and towards the back where our the new area is. And so this is changed out from chain link fence. It's going to be more like to treated wood. So it's going to be more privacy type fence for us. Right now, we don't have a privacy fence on each side of us. And then there will also be some new fencing where the gates, where the van got stolen as well.
Okay.
Is it going to be taller?
It'll be 6 foot, Mr. Sumners.
Because the reason I'm asking is there's nothing on that side of the building besides open land. So what privacy?
Right, it's the chain link fence that resides between us and the school. And it's the chain link fence that'll be removed on the other side between us and the church and the back part of the building as well.
Okay.
So it'll be all the way around.
Okay, well, it just doesn't seem to be any need for privacy when all you have is land for some distance.
Well, we also did it too, Mr. Summers, for safety reasons as well, since it'll be more treated wood instead of an open chain link fence.
Well, chain link fences last a lot longer than wood, so I don't understand that.
Well, we were also concerned with some people being able to jump over the fence through the chain link as well, making it harder if we had treated wood.
Okay, well, I having tried to go over chain link fences as a kid, yeah, it's a lot harder to get over a chain link fence than it is a wood one.
I understand, sir.
Okay.
Did that answer everybody's questions? Any other questions? Oh, sorry, trustee Duhan, you had it.
I didn't see an RFP for this. Did we do an RFP?
No, ma'am, it's through a job contract through our choice partners. And we can do that if we're going through a job contractor, which ERC is a job contractor. and they're on our Choice Partners Cooperative.
And how do we know that we're getting the best price for this then?
Choice Partners goes through an RFP process. It does have the JOC number does have an RFP process. It did went through that process. It's just JOC, but
Right.
it does have an RFP. It has to. It is in the contract. The RFP number in there. I'll look it up in a minute, and I can send it through the chat.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question as well.
Trustee Cantu?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of money for fencing. I know it. I read it, the item, and it mentions that the front part's going to be wrought iron, and the back's going to be wood. But Mr. Vela, can you tell us how many linear feet this is going to provide? I don't remember that property being that big.
I believe Mr. Cantu, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll ask Joe Carrion to chime in because he had worked on the quotation with ERC. I believe it's 500 linear feet, if I'm not mistaken. Joe, is that?
No, it's 1,400 linear feet.
I'm sorry, 1,400 linear feet then.
And it's actually a 7-foot fence. It's a 6-foot.
He's breaking up.
Can you hear me? Can you guys?
We can now.
Okay. So the wrought iron fence is also going to be 7 foot. We're putting gate operators as well. So we have to run the electrical underground for the gate operators. What we're trying to do is provide easy access for the buses and then securing that as well. Additionally, we're adding on a pedestrian gate at the front and 2 emergency pedestrian gates at the very back of the property. And then touching back on the security and privacy, there's a church right next to us, which most of the members stay in travel trailers. So if you ever go to Fortis, you'll see maybe about 8 travel trailers where we're trying to create our outdoor classrooms. And also to address the pricing, our pricing is verified through RS Means cost estimate. And so it's a standardized cost estimating software that is approved by Choice Partners. And so what we do is we go line item by line item to verify the quantities. And so absolutely, we definitely double check all the pricing.
Okay. Is this also going to provide fencing or section off the ropes course, or is that going to continue to be open?
It's going to continue to be open, but providing the 7-foot fence to protect the general public from jumping over. And the ropes course also has detachable steps. So you actually need perhaps, a 12-foot ladder to even get onto the ropes course without those detachable steps. So it's absolutely protected.
Thank you.
The RFP number is on the screen. If you can see, the RFP number is 20-017MR-09.
Does anybody else have any questions about this action item? I see Trustee Hinojosa.
And what does that come out to be, your price per foot on the fence?
Price per foot, let me look at the RS Means, because the price per linear foot would apply only to the wooden section of the fence. There's additional concrete sawing for the electrical to install the gate operators, and then there's also the wrought iron fence. But give me a second, I've got the RS Means pulled up here. And then if you allow me to share the screen, I believe this is also on the agenda, but I've got the RS Means here.
Joe, it's on the screen, the RS Means. Do you want me to move to the next page?
No, sir, I've got it here on my computer. Let me see here where it's at. So on the first page of the RS mains, the third line item from the bottom, that's the wood fence. It's 27,665.
Is it on the second page?
On the first page.
First page, I'm sorry.
So just for the wood fence, price per linear foot's about $20 a linear foot. Demolition is also broken out on this RS means as well. So there's a price for demolition, a price for installation, and all of them were line item cost estimates on this RS means.
Does that answer your question, Trustee Hinojosa?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other questions regarding this action item? Seeing none, move it for a vote.
Vice President Norris,
Yes.
Trustee Cantu,
Yes.
Trustee Duhan,
Yes.
Trustee Hinojosa,
Yes.
Trustee Sumners,
Abstain.
and Trustee Wolf.
Abstain.
Motion passes 4 with 2 abstentions.
All right, moving on to action item 7C, which is consider approval of project/delivery contract method of job order contracting and approval of job order contract for modernization of the existing elevator located at 6005 Westview with ERC Environmental Construction Services. This is Choice Partners job number 220/017. MR-09 at the total amount of $171,900.25 coming from the 2019-2020 construction fund. Is there a motion?
So move.
There's been moved by Trustee Cantu. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Seconded by Trustee Duhan. Any discussion? Trustee Duhan and then Trustee
Go
Sumner.
ahead. I'll succeed to Dawn.
Trustee
Okay.
Sumner.
I also remember a few years back that I thought we replaced the elevator at Westview. Is this a different one than the one that goes from the west side up to the second floor?
So, Mr. Sumners, we had replaced the elevators in the Irvington building. This is the-
This was because there was a problem with it. Gosh, that was probably 4 years back or so.
Mr. Summers, this is the one you're thinking of is down by Choice Partners, which is on the other end of Westview. This is the original elevator that's at Westview as you enter the building.
Okay, well, that was exactly what I remembered though. But how come the 171,000 and weren't we just paying like 90-something thousand for the ones in Irvington?
I don't know what the cost was on those, Mr. Summers. I wasn't here at that time when they replaced those.
The Irvington elevators were more than that. Mr. Sumners, if you remember, I think we spent like $460,000 for 4 elevators.
Okay, well that included the ones in the garage and the ones in the main building. So if you divide that by 4, it's still a lot less than 171,000.
Do you have any other questions, Trustee Summers?
No.
Trustee Duhon, did you have any other questions?
It goes back to the same question. Where is the RFP for this? I understand that we see a number for the contract in the contract that was linked, but I guess I'm requesting in the future, can we ensure that we have a link to see these RFPs? Because how are we supposed to make any decisions on this if we're not able to see the comparisons?
We'll include the RFP number in the caption of the agenda item, but it is included in the attachment. It is the same RFP number 20-07MR09.
And I need it to be linkable.
Is there a way to do that, Dr. Mesco? I guess the link to the choice
We can figure that out.
RFP? Yes.
Yeah,
Address that
okay.
moving forward.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll figure out how to do that link because it has to go to another website.
We can do that.
And so like you were saying, the RFPs are attached from this and the
The
fencing?
RFP numbers on the contract are attached, the job order number. I was putting the, can you see the attachment on the screen?
Yeah, I've got it pulled up too.
Oh, okay. That's the RFP number that we're required to see where there's, but the RFP itself, if you wanted to see the RFP itself, it's about a, I don't know, 40, 50 page document that would be attached to it. So do you want to see the attachment of the RFP itself?
I generally like to review the portion of the RFP that shows the grading that.
The tabulation,
Mhm.
the tabulation of the RFP. Okay.
We can work with Jeff and get that, Ms. Duhon.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question, Ms. Duhon? Trustee Duhon?
It does. Beyond that, what kind of a timeline are we on now to approve this? Are you trying to get something sent to us now so we can approve it in this meeting, or is this something that we can review before we have to approve it?
Well, Ms. Duhon, the reason we brought this to the board in August is so that we can try to get this started. We've had multiple problems. We spent multiple dollars on trying to keep the elevator up and running, and we've had some issues where we've had some staff members actually get stuck in the elevator and had to go on top and get them out of there, even though it's only 2 floors, but we've had to have them climb out of the elevator. So we felt like it's necessary to try to get this done as soon as possible, especially since we'll be moving back into the building, pretty soon here.
Okay.
Are there any other questions regarding this action item? All right, so move it to a vote.
Vice President Norris,
Yes.
Trustee Cantu,
Yes.
Trustee Duhon,
Yes.
Trustee Hinojosa,
Yes.
Trustee Sumners,
No.
Trustee Wolf.
Abstain.
Motion passes 4-4, 1 against, and 1 abstention.
So we're not gonna fix an elevator that people get stuck in.
Moving on to the next. So moving on to the next action item. Action item 7D. Consider approval of agreement with Houston Independent School District Food Services to provide breakfast and lunch for ABS East, ABS West, and Fortis Academy for the period of September 1, 2020 to August 31st, 2021 in the amount not to exceed $200,000. Is there a motion?
So move.
Been moved by Trustee Cantu. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Seconded by Trustee Duhon. Is there any discussion? Trustee Sumners?
I just have a question. Curiosity, how does HISD provide food service to Fortis when it's so far out of their jurisdiction?
Mr. Parker.
Yes, sir. I believe, Mr. Sumner's HISD has several satellite locations where they actually prepare food throughout the city.
Okay, well, they're just miles away from Fortis. I mean, many miles away.
Yeah, but I believe they have, again, a satellite location that's somewhat closer to Fortis than the downtown area.
Well, I mean, there's more than one school district between HISD and Fortis.
That's true. We thought it would just be actually cleaner and better to just go with one vendor for all
I
of us.
understand that. My question really was, do they deliver the food?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Sorry, didn't unmute myself. Sorry. Are there any other questions regarding this action item? All right, seeing none, put it for a vote.
Vice President Norris,
Yes.
Trustee Cantu,
Yes.
Trustee Duhan,
Yes.
Trustee Hinojosa,
Yes.
Trustee Sumners,
Yes.
Trustee Wolf,
Yes.
motion passes 6-0.
Right. Moving on to action item 7E, consider the approval of expenditures which have been previously procured and are expected to aggregate to $50,000 or more for fiscal year 2021 as required under policy CH local for various HCDE divisions for an aggregate amount not to exceed $20,898,476. This is an annual estimate of projected and budget expenditures in anticipation for fiscal year 2020 to 2021. A list of projected levels of expenditures by vendor are outlined in the board packet. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Trustee Cantu. Is there a second?
Seconded.
And seconded by Trustee Duhan. Any discussion? Trustee Summers?
What do you mean by previously procured?
All of the items in here either have an RFP number that has been awarded by the board, or it's a exemption by law, like for example, the appraisal district, or any governmental entity that we do business with. So everything has been procured. So that's why we say it has previously procured, because he has gone through an RFP process.
Okay. But what you're saying is, though, that the expenditures have already started, but we haven't approved them yet?
No, they start September 1.
Okay. See, now you need to explain these things. It sounds like, you've already hired them, but now you're wanting us to prove it.
No, these are for September 1 in anticipation of September 1.
Okay. All right.
Trustee Duhan?
I'm having a hard time understanding why these are all in this one agenda item. Help me out here.
Sure. Okay, let me pull it on the screen.
And Jesus, while you do that, I can try to help too. This is merely a creature of CH local policy, which requires, even for things that have already been procured and contracts awarded, anytime that the department spends in the aggregate $50,000 or more in a fiscal year, the board is required to approve not just the procurement, which you've already done, but also the expenditure. And so what Jesus does and many, many other districts do is at the start of the fiscal year, they bring a list of vendors who they anticipate, they know we're going to spend more than $50,000 with these vendors in this coming fiscal year. And so you're pre-approving a not to exceed amount for each of these vendors for the next fiscal year, the expenditures. And then they track it all year long. And if it looks like the amount might be exceeded, then you'll see it come back again for an additional amount. If they don't spend to that not to exceed amount, then it doesn't get spent. It's purely a matter of CH local.
Right.
And these numbers are all based on budgeting that has already been voted on.
Everything that's budgeted for that fiscal year.
Okay,
That's
thank
correct.
you.
Are there any other questions on this action item? Looking around, I do not see any. And there's none, we'll move to a vote.
Vice President Norris,
Yes.
Trustee Cantu,
Yes.
Trustee Duhan,
Yes.
Trustee Hinojosa,
Yes.
Trustee Sumners,
Yes.
Trustee Wolf.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Right. Moving on to action item 7F, consider approval of engagement letter with Oric Harrington and Sutcliffe LLP Bond Counsel in accordance with Texas Education Code 44.031F. Bond Counsel is required to enter the financial market and maintain bond disclosure compliance. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Trustee Cantu. Is there a second? I believe that was a second by Trustee Hinojosa. I saw her hand go up. Any discussion? Trustee Sumners?
Okay, here's a situation that I really protest. We have already engaged these people and they're already working for us and have already accomplished a considerable amount. And now we're coming up with, we're going to approve an engagement letter and they've already done a lot of work. This is on that one and the next one. And this just doesn't sit right with me. If you're going to hire bond counsel and legal assistance for bonds, you need to get this engagement letter approved before they start work, not after they start work. I would guess that they're probably over that, close to that $50,000 already a piece, and we haven't even approved the engagement letter, which the engagement letter is not even a contract unless they've drawn it that way. This is just, we just have a habit of starting up stuff and then coming back and trying to get the board to approve it. And that's happened the last bond issue that we had, and I complained about it then. And one thing that happened then was when the contract was finally awarded, it gave Dr. Mesqua sole authority as to how much we were going to pay them. And we actually paid them considerably more than the estimate that they gave us in the engagement letter. So this just, in my opinion, is just not the right way to do business.
Are there any other questions or discussion on this? Okay, Trustee Hinojosa.
I'd like to get some feedback on that from somebody.
Dr. Mesqua.
At the August the 3rd meeting that we had, we were going to place the item at the same time, but the intent was to keep the item short. And so we did not include that item at the same time. Our intention was to put it at the same time as the bond notice. Both of these consultants, financial advisor and bond counsel, get engaged on the proposed bond issue. if the bond issue doesn't materialize, they do not get paid. So there's no, there's a commitment only if there is a bond issue that gets awarded. We have worked with these two financial advisor and bond counsel, and typically we have an agreement since over time. So we've had them at least 13 years that have been with the department. They've been our financial advisor and our bond counsel. I insisted this time around that we provide a more formal letter of engagement, and that's why you see it here. In the past, we've had a letter established with a financial advisor. Years ago, our bond counsel changed firms, and but we maintained the relationship with our attorney. And so at this time, that's why we were bringing it to be able to approve to move forward with the project. Without having the assistance, we wouldn't be able to move forward with the bond program.
Trustee Sumners.
But this is exactly what I'm talking about, though. We knew that we were going to go for bonds, and we should have gotten the engagement letter with these people before we even started work. They've done a lot of work just to get the notice done and get through the approval through the state. This is not, just not the right way to do things. To hire them, get them to do work, even it's on a contingency. So the contingency is not, and that's just hogwash, because we're going to issue these bonds. There's no real contingency. They're going to get paid. And does this contract, Dr. Mesquith, like the other one that gives the engagement letter gives an estimate? And are you
I do have an estimate. There's a schedule, and then there's an estimate. I can share the schedule with you.
Why are we not seeing this stuff like we used to with a page number, so we can go look and see what it is that you're wanting us to approve?
I don't know about the agenda. I mean, I'm just, it's on page 647.
Yeah, but we have to go through page after page after page after page instead of just being able to go to page 647. All our other agendas before we started having virtual had page numbers that we could go to and see what it was that we were actually wanting to approve. We don't get that information anymore unless you want to go through it on and on and on and on until you find it. So now here it is. Okay. So as I recall,
there's the first party is the financial advisor. The PFC funds estimate is 95,331, and that's according to the schedule. There in the engagement letter, there's a schedule according to the bond.
That's an estimate, though, right?
Well, they're based on the bonds, because if you go by exactly what the bonds, and then that's what it will be. If you change the number of the bonds, then the bonds will be different.
Okay, so
maintenance will be.
You've got them going already on something. What's the maintenance part?
The maintenance notes. Those are the maintenance notes, the bonds.
Okay, that's just the cost of issuing the notes.
Right, that's the cost of issuance.
Okay, so you've got
under bond counsel, there's the attorney general fee that we have to pay the attorney general, 19,000 for them to review. And then of course the PFC and the maintenance bonds, it's 78,000 for the bond work. Now there is some real estate work potentially under this because it's a PFC, but if it's not needed, then the 30,000 will not be needed for real estate work. So the total estimate would be 251,230 or 281,230, depending if there's real estate work to be done.
Okay, now I see I assume the 95,000 is for the financial advisor. Top line.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where's bond counsel's fee?
Let me highlight it for you and so you can see it.
Those look like expenses and not Or is it 19,000 just for filing the notice with the AG to get approval for the
Right.
notice?
So the bond council is $78,000.
Okay, so that's not, okay, that's not maintenance then. You're confusing this. You're up above, you say maintenance is the cost of issuing the bonds. And now PFC down there includes council's expenses.
Bond counsel is the item that I have highlighted in yellow. Financial advisor is the items that I'm going to highlight
So
in.
that 97,000 is all paid to the bond council.
Yes, because 19,000 is a reimbursement. They pay the AG fee and we reimburse them.
Sure. Okay. But the PFC maintenance,
Because they're both bonds. They're the PFC bonds and the maintenance notes bonds.
okay, but I'm trying to get to how much bond council itself is going to be paid outside of expenses.
That's $78,000.
Okay, so we've got two engagements here. They're over 50,000. We haven't approved anything. They've been hired. They've already done work. They've already gone to the AG to get approval. And here we are, we're wanting to approve an engagement letter, not even a contract. Is this engagement letter going to replace the contract?
So
Yes.
just if I can pipe, just for, I hope I can add some clarity, but of course, Jesus, please continue to add input and including correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there was already a written engagement letter between ORIC, between bond council and HCDE prior to this one. My understanding is that this one is coming at the request of board members, including I believe Mr. Sumner's, to add more specificity to that engagement letter. But there was already pre-existing to today. My understanding is that there is an engagement letter with bond counsel and similarly with Mr. Wilks's firm to provide these types of services. This one is only coming forth because more specificity in the actual engagement letter was requested by HCDE.
Yeah. Can I chime in on that now?
Well, Jesus, can you just confirm if my understanding is correct? I don't want to misrepresent anything. That's my understanding.
Yes, we had an engagement letter with a financial advisor, an ongoing engagement letter with the financial advisor. I requested an additional engagement letter because as a precaution, because there was a questions last time that he wanted to see it separately for each bond. So we asked them to do that. For the bond counsel, we had one for the previous bond issue, and it was only specific to that bond issue. And so we wanted to add the new bond issue. And so I asked for that engagement letter to be brought so that the board can approve it as well.
Okay, can I talk now?
Trustee Summers, you have another question?
Yeah, well, I have more comments. This is exactly what happened last time although I don't think either one of these fellas changed firms. We had a last bond issue that these people had, at least one of them was with a firm that our ongoing relationship was with a firm that advisor had actually left and gone to another firm. We moved with the advisor to the other firm without a contract. And later on, we got a contract, but here's the deal. Both of these guys are getting paid over 50,000. It's guaranteed over 50,000. It's starting out over 50,000. They've done work. We haven't even gotten an engagement letter. There was a contract before. I remember it because I think it had like an $80,000 estimate in it. And we paid more than that. And Jesus was the only person that had any say as to how much we were going to pay because that was in the contract. Just gets me upset. And just to add to this, this continuing relationship is a non-fee relationship as far as I can remember. It just means that if and when something else comes up, we would consider these people. It's not like they're getting a legal retainer or anything from us. And, you know, we could have gone out and said, hey, there's minority firms that are capable of issuing bonds this size. And we didn't even make any attempt to see if anybody else would want to do this work for us. We just moved right on like we always have. And the board has had no decision until it's too late to do it. If we could turn it down right now, these guys would not get paid. And that's exactly what they deserve. And but I'm not sure that's not going to happen. But it just I want everybody to know that this is the kind of stuff that goes on at the HCDE, and you just need to be on the lookout for it.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Summers, we can't see you again. It's important for not only for the board and for members of the community to be able to see you.
Okay, I guess I moved too close or something. I haven't moved my screen. There we go.
You keep sliding down. I think I saw Superintendent Colbert and then Trustee Hinojosa. So Superintendent Colbert, did you?
Yeah, yes, sir. I would just say that certainly Mr. Sumner's comments are very well articulated. I think that we could look at the order of operations several different ways. I've always felt like we've been in complete compliance when we've gone out for bonds. There are preferences to do it one way versus another, and I think that we can look at and refine our best practices moving forward for future projects. I have had a relationship specifically with even Mr. Wilkes prior to coming to this district. He's a very trusted individual, and Marcus Dietz has also done a very good job for us in the past, and I've not had any reason not to do business with them moving forward. But certainly we want to serve at the pleasure of the board and do what's in the best interest of everyone. But as far as I'm concerned, Dr. Mesqua's procedures that he has articulated and has used have been in compliance. We have not violated any laws or had any, shiesty practices or anything like that. We could probably look at maybe the order of operations and perhaps bringing it all together at one moving forward. But I would ask for the board's approval for this so we can continue to move forward with our facilities projects as the board has approved in our previous meeting.
Trustee Hinojosa?
I thought the clarification was that we in fact already had a letter of engagement and this was just for more context.
That's
I
correct.
thought that letter, I'm sorry, I thought that letter was for a previous item though.
My understanding is that the prior engagement letter would have carried over to this one. But because more specificity was requested, that option was never discussed, that it was because more specificity was required, a brand new engagement letter was brought forward.
Since 2016 or 17, when we did the last bond, PFC bond issue, after that, we continue to use this consultants, advisor and counsel to assist us with bond compliance. And there's no fee charge associated with the bond compliance. Every year we have to submit to the EMA the information about our financial statements and bond compliance, and any questions that may come up regarding the use of bond funds or the use of investments related to the PFC. So they've been available the last 3 years to us, and there's no fee associated with that particular service. That's the ongoing relationship that we've had with the financial advisor and bond counsel for the last 13 years that at least that I've been with the department. They've been here with the department previous to my coming to the department. They were here, I don't know, I want to say about since in the 80s. I don't recall when they were hired originally, but they were here way before I got here to the department.
All right, are there any other questions regarding this action item? Trustee Duhan.
When was our last RFP for bond counsel?
It's a professional service.
It's exempt from
Competitive
procurement under 2254. Is that the correct number?
44031F, I believe.
Yeah.
Same thing with the financial advisor. It's considered a professional service and therefore is not subject to the competitive bidding requirements.
So is there a way that we can ensure that we're still going to be continuously with the best option instead of just sticking with someone that we've been loyal to?
If you wanted to do an RFQ, I guess it would be an RFQ, and it would take us about 60 days to do that.
Clearly, we have reasons why this is on a timeline that it makes sense that we do need to pass this. But I think that maybe we need to talk about getting something in place that we're not allowing these past relationships to simply dictate which way we move going forward. We had a brand new bond that we're looking to issue. We should have done the RFQ, if that's what it is, previous to this, but before we just simply engage, is what it sounds like. Can we do that moving forward? Can we do additional RFQs moving forward?
We can.
Don, does that help?
Yeah, I don't have any question about the competency of these people. It's just the procedure. They are competent people, but they're both going to be, regardless of how competent they are, this relationship that we've had is basically very informal. It just sort of carries over, and we're not paying them anything. The deal is this: both of these guys are going to get paid over $50,000. We knew that in advance, and we're just in effect breaking the law by not getting their engagement contract, a letter or contract or whatever you want to call it, in advance of their starting work, because one's going to get 95,000, the other one's getting 78,000. Those are estimates, I'm sure, because that's what it was last time, and we paid over the estimate. It's just like, you know, I think Trustee Duhon, you're right that we're just too cozy with these people. This would have been a perfect time to go out for RFQs and maybe try to bring in some minority underwriters in the council who are entirely capable of handling bonds of this size. In Harris County, when I participated in all the bond issues, they of course were much larger, and minority counsel was hired, but they were not the primary movers of the bond issues. But this one, I know there's some smaller firms in this area that are in the financial business that could have done this had we gone out for an RFQ.
If you'd like for us to do an RFQ, then we will do an RFQ. I mean,
hold on. So us going out for an RFQ would slow and delay the whole process for our facilities plan. I mean, this has never been the temperament that I've heard before. Mr. Summers, I've never heard you, with respect, advocate for minority businesses to get, do work with us as far as our financial advising. I've not heard that before. Had that been the temperament before, maybe we would have done that, but we've never had any issues with using this bond counsel or the financial advisory.
Well, let me say this: in the previous issue, we had exactly the same thing. We were way into the bond issue for AB West, and before it ever got to the board for approval of these expenses.
Okay, I think I saw Trustee Hinojosa Trustee Hinojosa.
Yes, so Trustee Sumner's made a comment just now, and he said that we were breaking the law. Can I get some feedback on that?
to my knowledge, you are not breaking the law. The law requires that you choose bond counsel as well as your financial advisor based on demonstrated competence and qualifications, and then negotiate a fair and reasonable price. And that would be the standard even if you went out for RFQ. To my knowledge, I believe that, and Mr. Dietz and as was stated earlier by Mr. Colbert, Mr. Wilkes, they both work with many, many school districts across the state of Texas. I believe that Mr. Dietz's firm has been rated the #1 bond counsel nationally for like the last 20 years or something like that. So it's clear to me from a legal perspective that they have demonstrated competence and qualifications, and that is the legal standard by which you are to choose bond counsel and financial advisors, because those are professional services. So to my knowledge, there is no law being broken, but rather the law is being followed.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry. Superintendent Colbert.
I just would like to state, and I would like for Ms. Godbout to make sure that she states for the record in the minutes that there's no laws being broken and asking the board for approval on this, nor has there been laws broken in the past, as stated by Mr. Sumners.
Well, that's just an opinion.
Minutes. No, that's the legal general counsel just gave us that opinion. That's not
Yeah,
my,
that's her opinion.
yeah, the lawyer. That's the lawyer's opinion.
Well, do we have any other questions on this particular action item?
I've got a comment. I was referring to the expenditure of over 50,000 without properly engaging, not their competency. I agree that they are both very competent.
And to my knowledge, Jesus, please correct me if I'm wrong, the pre-approval for expenditures of $50,000 or more comes from policy CH local. And to my knowledge, no funds have been paid from HCDE to either Mr. Dietz's firm or to Mr. Wilkes's firm. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Isn't the rule though that it's an obligation to pay, not the fact that you've actually made a payment?
The policy states, if you give me 2 seconds, I can read it.
Talking about state law.
The state law, there is no, it's an exempt professional service. So the 44031A, which requires that any expenditure of $50,000 or more in the aggregate in a fiscal year be competitively procured, is not applicable here because these are exempt professional services under 44031F.
Okay, so we have a local policy about 50,000.
We have a local policy about $50,000 for the expenditure. That's what I was explaining earlier in response to Ms. Duhan's question concerning the pre-approval of the vendors who are expected to be paid more than $50,000 this coming fiscal year. Policy CH local states any single budgeted purchase of goods or services that cost $50,000 or more shall require board approval. And so that's why this is coming to you now, is because the expenditure has not been made yet, but is anticipated that it will be more than $50,000 and therefore board approval is required.
And I see Trustee Duhan's hand is raised. I recognize Trustee Duhan.
Thanks. I just want to state I will be voting to pass this agenda item because I do find that it is important that we get this ball moving. I am requesting with that we in the future are able to do RFQs for this type of service with the knowledge at hand that we are including usually in RFQs past relationships. So, that's a factor whenever you're getting something looked into, what companies you want to go with. And so we would be able to factor that in and ensure that we're using not only the one that would be best for us, but also the one that we have the best relationship with. So I'm just asking for future instances for us to be able to do that beforehand.
Are there any other questions or comments on this action item? Seeing none, we can go for a vote.
Vice President Norris,
Yes.
Trustee Cantu,
Yes.
Trustee Duhan,
Yes.
Trustee Hinojosa,
Yes.
Trustee Sumners,
Abstain.
And trustee Wolf.
No.
Motion passes four with one nay vote and one abstention.
All right, moving on to action item 7G, which is to consider approval of engagement letter with USCA Municipal Advisors LLC. It's a financial advisor in accordance with Texas Education Code 44.031F. A financial advisor is required to enter the financial market and maintain bond disclosure compliance. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
So it's been moved by trustee Cantu. Is there a second? Is there a second? Okay, it's been seconded by trustee Hinojosa. Any discussion? I think we probably discussed it pretty heavily on the last item. Seeing none, we can move it for a vote.
Vice President Norris,
Yes.
trustee Cantu,
Yes.
trustee Duhan,
Yes.
trustee Hinojosa,
Yes.
trustee Sumners,
Abstain.
and trustee Wolf.
Abstain.
Motion passes 4-4 with 2 abstentions.
Moving on to action item 7H, consider approval of 18 part-time aide positions for the Head Start division to support the program and meeting child care licensing minimum standards health protocols to ensure the health and safety of students and staff during COVID-19 pandemic. These positions are funded by a new COVID-19 grant. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Been moved by trustee Duhan. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Hinojosa. Any discussion? And I guess, do we have a idea of, it might be in the document. Is there an idea how much this is going to come to, or is it just, do we have any idea of approximately how much this is? I understand what it's for. I just didn't know if there was a dollar amount to it.
Mr. Parker or Benita? You're muted, Benita.
Okay. Hello. We asked for the 18 positions, but we will hire as needed. We were granted over $1 million in COVID funds, but I do not have a specific cost for what the personnel will be.
But this is through the grant, correct?
Yes, it is. We were granted specific COVID funds for both the Head Start program and the Early Head Start Child Care Partnership program. And so it will cover the expenses of these staff will be budgeted into the funds that are provided for us, which was a little over $1 million.
Okay. Are there any other questions or concerns on this action item? Seeing none, we're moving for a vote.
Vice President Norris,
Yes.
trustee Cantu,
Yes.
trustee Duhan,
Yes.
trustee Hinojosa,
Yes.
trustee Sumners,
Yes.
trustee Wolf.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay, moving on to action item 7I, considering the final approval of the following revised local policies. Would be DIA local, FB local, FFH local. Is there a motion for, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Been moved by, was that trustee Duhan? Oh, sorry, that was trustee Hinojosa. I'm sorry. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Seconded by trustee Duhan. Any discussion? Seeing none, want to move it to a vote?
Vice President Norris,
Yes.
trustee Cantu,
Yes.
trustee Duhan,
Yes.
trustee Hinojosa,
Yes.
trustee Sumners,
Abstain.
trustee Wolf.
Abstain.
Motion passes 4-4 with 2 abstentions.
Okay, Action item 7J, consider the first reading of the following revised local policies, BDF local, CV local, and CCG local. Is there a motion?
Sorry, this is just first reading, so there's no motion
Oh.
needed. It's just for if anyone has any questions or would like to discuss, and then you all will see these again next month for second reading and final approval.
Okay. Is there any questions on action item 7J? I don't see any.
Mr. Sumners, I believe, has the question.
Oh, sorry. Trustee Sumners?
It's just a question. You mentioned earlier that you'd had a policy committee meeting where the, I don't remember any notification of that meeting. Was the board, all of the board notified of the meeting, or just the policy committee meeting members?
I don't remember I don't remember what listserv. I know.
I believe the policy, well, for certain, the policy committee was notified, but typically the entire board is notified, but are CC'd on the email. Subcommittee members are the ones who are directly notified.
And the meeting.
Ms. Godbout.
And the meeting was posted in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. It occurred on August 13th.
Yeah, I believe we had a quorum, didn't we?
We did at one point, yes, sir.
Yeah.
I just missed it then.
Any other questions or comments on this action item? I guess there's no vote, so I guess is there any other?
I just, oh, sorry,
CCG
Jesus, go ahead.
CCG local will need to add some language due to changes in the law, due to terminology that started on January 2020. So we'll amend it next time around, that there will be the second reading.
Okay.
And then additionally, I wanted to follow up during the policy committee meeting and the discussion concerning the small business program, which is a revision to policy CV local. Ms. Duhan had a question with regards to prevailing wage rates and whether or not the department could require contractors with whom we contract to pay higher than the prevailing wage rate. And I recall that there was an AG opinion, but couldn't exactly remember it. What it stated. I did pull the AG opinion. It's JC-0011. And it specifically says that a school district may not require contractors with the district to pay their workers more than what the prevailing wage rate schedule provides that's adopted pursuant to Chapter 2258. And I'm happy to share that opinion with the board if you'd like. But it was for the board, in this instance, it was the McAllen ISD School Board. And for the same reasons that we discussed during the policy committee meeting, they desired for their contractors to pay workers a living wage, as that term is used, and the AG determined that that was not permissible under the law with specifically 2258, which mandates a minimum prevailing wage rate scale. And so I did want to follow up with that. And then similarly, President Dick had a similar question regarding whether or not the department could award points in the evaluation criteria for contractors who are local. So in other words, who have business in Harris County or employ a certain number of workers in Harris County. And similarly, the answer to that question is no, that you may not award points purely based on geographic location. And that was from AG opinion number DM113. And in that instance, the Dallas ISD board wanted to provide points for location or residence of the bidders. And the AG's office found that they could not do so primarily because that criteria doesn't bear any apparent objective relationship to the quality of the goods or services or the competence or capacity of the bidder to perform under the contract. And so they reasoned that therefore the district could not reward bidders, in other words, give points to contractors purely on the basis of their residence or location.
Thank you. Are there any other comments on action item 7J? Don't see any. And since there's no vote required, we can just, we can move now to the next action item, which is executive session. Under the Texas Government Code pursuant to any and all purposes permitted by sections 551.001 through 551.084, including but not limited to 551.071 and 551.074. We are now moving to executive sessions. I suppose we'll be transitioned to our Zoom executive session.
Yes, and the time is 2:55.
All right.
Good afternoon, Ms. Godbout. Can the meeting participants hear me?
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much.
We can hear
Good
you now.
afternoon. My name is Ellen Spalding. I'm an
You
attorney.
are
for the-
not in executive session.
Correct.
You are on live.
Correct.
TV. Okay.
Correct. I'm an attorney for the Harris County Department of Education. I am in the live session of the Harris County Department of Education board meeting. And I am asking if an employee, Donna Jones, is present in the audience, or her attorney, Mr. Derek King, or anybody representing Ms. Jones. If Ms. Jones or Mr. King or anybody representing Ms. Jones is present in the audience, can you please speak up at this time and make yourself known? We are about to attend to matters related to you and a hearing regarding you, and we need you to identify if you are here. Last call for Ms. Jones, Mr. King, or anybody representing Ms. Jones, Ms. Donna Jones. I have not heard anything. Ms. Godbout, have you?
Believe that there was an individual that came on that was moved to closed session by the name of Jones.
Was that Ms. Trevino Jones?
Donna Jones.
Trevino Jones?
It just says Donna Jones, ma'am.
Okay. And did she come on in person or by telephone?
If I can pull it up, let me see if she's, I'm not able to see it right now. Let me see one second if I can go in. I'll give you that information.
Sure, thank you very much for checking.
Sorry, Donna Trevino Jones is in closed session right now.
Okay, this is confusing because we have two parties named Donna Jones. Is there any other Donna Jones that came on, got moved to closed session?
No, ma'am, not currently, no.
Okay. At this time, Ms. Godbout, would you move me and Mr. Bechtel, the court reporter, back to closed session?
Yes, ma'am. Bear with me, please.
Thank you very much.
I apologize. Bear with me just one moment, please. I apologize.
I understand. Nope, I understand.
Miss Spalding, I'm working on it right now. I really apologize. Give me just one second.
Please take your time. Do not worry. We all understand the technology issues we face during this time.
Thank you.
Ms. Spalding, we are having technical difficulties and we need to close the executive session, bring everybody back in and recreate the room. Is that acceptable to you?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for asking.
Okay, I'm going to go into executive session, let them know what we're doing. They'll come back out, we'll recreate the room, and then you guys will all go back in.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Langlois, we continue to have the inability to create the rooms.
Why don't we just kick everybody else out of this room and stay in this one?
You can place everybody else in the waiting room, I guess. Or you could set up a separate Zoom meeting, which is just for those who are relevant to the executive session. And then you could text it all to us or email it all to us.
If you give me a few minutes, I'm just trying to figure this out. It looks like I can recreate the room. So do you want to pause and let us figure this out, and then I can kind of come back and let you know?
Yes, please.
Okay. So hang tight. I'm going to do what I can. A few more minutes, hang tight. Okay, Ms. Langlois, I have recreated the closed session room. I'm going to send everybody back into that, and at that point I will recreate the second room, which has the different folks in it while you guys are in there. And if we have a problem when you come out of that, we can address it at that time, if that's acceptable.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, here you go.
All right. We all made it back yet? I think we have. So it is now what, 3:59, and we are going back to we're coming out of executive session, and we have a item that needs to be voted on by the board. Is there a motion?
Yes.
I think Trustee Cantu is going to read the motion.
On item 8A, I move that we adopt the decision and recommendation of the certified hearing examiner, adopt the findings of fact and conclusion of law recommended by the certified hearing examiner, and that we non-renew Ms. Jones's 2019 to 20 term employment contract.
Mr. Cantu, was that 9A?
Yes, 9A.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
So it's been moved by Trustee Cantu and seconded by Trustee Hinojosa. Any discussion? Seeing none, we put it for a vote.
I will help with the roll call. Board Vice President, Mr. Norris.
Yes.
Trustee Richard Cantu.
Yes.
Trustee Andrea Duhan.
Yes.
Trustee Amy Hinojosa.
Yes.
Trustee Don Sumners.
He was on
Mr.
mute.
Sumners, you're on mute.
Yes.
Trustee Michael Wolf.
Yes.
It was moved and seconded, and then the vote was 6 in favor, 0 abstentions, and 0 against. The motion passes unanimously.
All right. The time is now 4:01, and we have one more item to address in executive session. So I think we're going to be whisked back to the executive session.
Yes,
domain.
under sections 551.071 and 551.074.
Yes, yes, under Texas Government Code pursuant to any all purposes under sections 55.01 and 55.04, we'll go back into executive session.
Here, I'll tell. Mr. Sumners, you need to click join.
Okay, we are back. We are back from executive session. The time is 4:18. And we have two agenda items left. And I believe Trustee Cantu is going to move on both of those items. So I'll let Trustee Cantu move. Trustee Cantu, did you have that, the language written?
Yes, on item, I believe it's 9B, I move that the Board of Trustees find that Gregory Sam failed without good cause to comply with the resignation requirements of the Texas Education Code and abandoned his Chapter 21 term employment contract, and to authorize the superintendent or his designee to file a complaint with TEA SBEC regarding the same.
All right, it's been moved by Trustee Cantu. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Hinojosa. Any discussion? Seeing none, we're moving for a vote.
Vice President Norris,
Yes.
Trustee Cantu,
Yes.
Trustee Duhan,
Yes.
Trustee Hinojosa,
Yes.
Trustee Sumners,
Yes.
Trustee Wolf.
I'm sorry, no.
Okay. Motion passes 5 with 1 voting nay.
All right, we'll move to the second item on the agenda, and Trustee Cantu.
9C.
9C.
Yes, on 9C, I move to propose termination of Gregory Sam's Chapter 21 term employment contract for good cause as determined by the board, and to authorize the superintendent or his designee to inform Mr. Sam of this action as required by applicable law and policy.
All right, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Cantu and seconded by Trustee Hinojosa. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move it for a vote.
Vice President Norris,
Yes.
Trustee Cantu,
Yes.
Trustee Duhan,
Yes.
Trustee Hinojosa,
Yes.
Trustee Sumners,
Yes.
Trustee Wolf.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
All right, I think we have exhausted our agenda items.
There's,
The
I'm
only-
so sorry, Mr. Norris, there's one more, number 10. Which is
Numbers-
just,
okay. I'm sorry, discussion of any possible action regarding any future agendas items. Seeing none. Seeing none, there appears to be none. There'll be one, the last motion is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
I heard like 3. I think Trustee Duhan said it, and I think everybody, well, who seconded who? Was that Trustee Hinojosa? Did you second?
Sure, I second, yes.
Okay. I think we need it for the record. Okay. It's been moved and properly seconded to adjourn the meeting. Any discussion? All right, call for a vote.
Vice President Norris,
Yes.
Trustee Cantu,
Yes.
Trustee Duhan,
Yes.
Trustee Hinojosa,
Yes.
Trustee Sumners,
Yes.
Trustee Wolf.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0 and the time is 4:22 p.m.
Thank you very much for a great meeting, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.